What up, crew? How we doing? My name is Cam McDougall.
I am Ryan Miller.
Welcome to Ignite You. Bang. Today we have a very fun, very special episode. It's number 1. It's ground 0.
Is it 1 or 0?
I think we should go with 0.
Okay, this is episode number 0.
This is ground 0. I don't know how an episode could be 0, but this is episode 0. In this dimension, we go with zeros.
There we go.
Ground 0. All right, we're going to go right into it because you'll learn right quick that we can banter quite a bit. So here in this episode, we want it to be really quick, succinct, to the point. So why are you here? Why are you listening to these two humans on the mic? We both are obsessed with spirituality and human transformation. And we have been in the worlds of spirituality and human transformation for a very long time. And we found it very difficult to find grounded, relatable content that really helped us along our journeys and our paths. So this podcast is called Ignite You because it's an Ignite University as well as a catalyst to ignite your soul based on the content and the discoveries that we have on our journey or have had on our journey or are curious about diving into on our journeys in a relatable, grounded, fun, and exciting way. Because we're gonna get into like what you can expect in a few minutes here, but we bring fun, we bring flavor, but we also bring depth. We're also gonna go deep. We're gonna go into the shit. So that's what this is about. That's why you're here.
Beautifully put, bro. Appreciate that. Now into our stories. Why are you listening to us specifically? I'll tell you a little bit about where we're from, what we do, why we do it. And again, this is succinct. This is quick. You'll learn more about us as you listen. So for me, the things I want to highlight about my journey that have been important to my growth and what I do today is coming from a family of addiction and a family of abuse of substance, and for myself and the ones around me. And so coming from that space, then navigating to a different addiction of fitness, going into that world, and finding that fitness is something I could attach to and hold myself to and ground myself to, but it was still from the addictive tendencies. So moving from the space of fitness, getting burnt out, and then moving to a space following that into mindfulness, deep into the practice specifically of meditation, like deep into that, becoming a practitioner, becoming a facilitator, and diving into that from my personal experience. And then neglecting the body. So going to the extremes. This is something that Cam and I talk about a lot and bring in because we've seen the extremes, because that's where we live and that's kind of the people we are. But we go all in when we're going into something. And that's what I did, which then neglected my body. So then along that path, finding ways to integrate these different worlds of spirituality and fitness, which brings us to present day, which is what I love to do, serve in that way, and becoming a high performance coach that supports people with those areas alongside areas of play and full expression, which I love.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes, we love that about you, Ryan. We so do. We so do. And your journey has been so beautiful, so powerful. Yeah. And man, you've done the work in the time you've been here, and it's beautiful, beautiful to see. So myself, I also come from a place of fitness. That was where my journey, I guess, started in the more conventional sense of human transformation. And for me, it was a little different. It wasn't as much addiction to substances and things along those lines, as much as those were actually part of my life. That's not really what it kind of pulled me out of. But fitness pulled me out of violence, drugs, gangs, all kinds of crazy shit when I was younger. And it was actually a guard in juvenile detention who pulled me aside and showed me how fitness could actually be used as a focal point or conduit for the anger that I had flowing through me. And you know, at that point, he got me into it by telling me it would get me more chicks and like, but that I would look better and all these things. So he was able to relate it to me at that point in my life where not many people could actually relate to me. And so over that experience, I got really deep into fitness. But like Ryan said, I also became addicted to fitness. I became addicted to that experience, and I neglected the emotional side, the mental side, the energetic side, the spiritual side of my being, and just went all in on fitness. And it wasn't until, a good friend of mine gave me A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle that it really kind of cracked me open to the other realms of this being. And it took a second death and rebirth in my life to really open me up to it, which opened me up to meditation and the cosmic nature of our being, and finally to breath work. And a good friend of mine, Lucas Mack, put me through my first real breath work journey, which cracked me open to this whole other level of human consciousness and, divine beings and my higher self and all the cool stuff that we totally froth on now. So, very similarly to Ryan, it came from a place of pain and evolved over the years into different replications of the same addictions until I realized I was just doing the same thing over and over again, and then found my flow and balancing it out, which is really what this podcast is all about, is helping you balance out your journey and understand the different components of it.
From pain to purpose.
Boom.
Fucking beautiful, man.
Hell yeah.
Appreciate that. All right, so what to expect, kind of dropping in on some of the things that we're going to predominantly speak to and where we're coming from when we go into this podcast. And one of the most important things that we agree on here in this podcast is truth. And that's the way we're always going to show up. We're going to show up in our truth. We're going to show up from our truth. And we're going to show up for our truth. We're going to bring that forward of experiences we've had. It's going to be raw. It's going to be real. It's going to be dark. It's going to be gritty. And there's going to be light. And there's going to be fun and play. But it's all tied in and dropped into our truth.
The full human experience.
Yes.
The real. And that leads into curiosity. Like, for both of us, curiosity is a huge pillar in our lives. And we are always going deeper into understanding, these different realms of consciousness, these different things we can do, these different theories that people have, all these different versions of reality that are all around the world. So we're going to bring you on our journey of exploring, as well as share what we have explored already, and really bring in some fire and some fun, because we send it into stuff, and we want to really bring you into sending it in fun and excitement in life, but also into more of the darker, wild, crazier things that might be out there.
Yes. And speaking of the darker, wild, crazier things, the work, that's another key element of what we bring forward. And what Cam really does so beautifully as a trauma specialist, which you didn't actually mention, but that is the predominant theme of the work of breath work that you do, and being so deeply into that work of actually doing the work that can seem like the dark side, that can seem like it's the day in, day out, it's showing up for it. So it's a big theme, and what we're going to talk about is to make sure we're not one body bypassing, as we would speak to, which we'll talk about more, but going into it and doing the work.
Definitely. I love that. And balancing that with play. Yeah. Right? Like making sure that, we are going in to the work, going deep. And as Ryan said, I am a trauma release breathwork practitioner, and I do go into the darkness a lot. And a huge avenue of what we also do, both with Embodied and my practice and the Ignite experiences, is we help people balance that. We help them really find the play side of the darkness as well. Because, let's be honest, if we're constantly in a state of healing, we're not really integrating. So we have to live the fruits of our labor and really experience what life can feel like on the other side of the deep work that we do.
Yeah. And I would say I'm a play specialist, by the way.
I would say that.
I specialize in play. So it's going to be fucking fun.
Too. I would say that too, which is beautiful.
Yes. And a huge element, which is a piece of you experiencing this, but what we're bringing into this podcast is community. So we're making this an experience that's going to bring others in. It's going to have containers for you guys to join into. So commenting on these videos, giving us ideas and things to drop into, topics you want to know more about, having guests on that are, which is kind of the next thing we're going to speak about, but having guests on that are
now. We're in it. We're doing it. It's here. It's present.
It's now. Speaking to that, having guests on that are part of this community and having places for you to go, because we're going to have an app. Maybe by the time you hear this, it's already out, but it's coming soon. We have retreats. We have things and containers for people to join into to hold the space to make sure that this is a community, not just a podcast, but a movement to ignite you.
I love that so much. You will also notice that we are sitting, not sinking, we're sitting drinking cacao.
Yes.
All right. It's this very special recipe that you will probably hear Ryan and I banter over quite a bit because it's quite controversial, but we won't get into that now.
It's really good, though.
It is really good. No matter what it's called, it's good. But we want you to feel like you can just pour yourself a cup of cacao, matcha latte, fire this episode on, and it's like we're all sitting around having a conversation about this stuff. So join in. The community aspect's what we're all about because collective consciousness kicks ass.
Let's get it. And we'll see you in there, crew.
Peace out.
Stay lit.